Now, C4 is 4 countries. You have Guatemala, Honduras, El Salvador, and Nicaragua, all very strategically important countries. Different use cases for all these different locations. First, I'm going to discuss a backdoor hack to El Salvador, right? It's going to be legal, and nope, you don't have to waste $1 million buying this passport. I think it's more of a gimmick. I don't think Nayib Bukele is really serious when he's trying to sell this at $1 million. No one's buying it, right? It's overpriced clearly for a weak passport, for a poor passport, and it's an overkill. You don't want to associate yourself, right? You don't want to get this citizenship when you're doing business. You want to have something outside which gives you a backdoor entry in El Salvador. Now, in case you are unaware, El Salvador created the CBI, Citizenship by Investment. Now, usually when you come up with a citizenship program, you want to kickstart it with a big bang. You want to send shockwaves across the market. This was really exactly the opposite. $1 million, and people were like, you're kidding me. Clearly not an interesting deal for anyone. Now, the reason why we are discussing El Salvador here is because it's a Bitcoin country. So with Bitcoin going up and a lot of speculation, right? Positivity within the Bitcoin domain, the crypto market has picked up. It has hit all-time highs. A lot of people are bullish. People want to invest in Bitcoin. Some people want to exit Bitcoin. This is really the time that crypto investors have been waiting for. So you want to have access to a country which has Bitcoin as its main currency. You want to be able to buy or purchase Bitcoin. And if you look at El Salvador, you can purchase Bitcoins at their ATMs. You can purchase land using Bitcoin. It's really the main currency of the country. Now, that is exactly what crypto investors would dream for. Of course, he got the passport or the citizenship program wrong. But the one thing that he got right is creating Bitcoin as the main currency, right? Now, that did send a lot of positive vibes across the market. El Salvador reestablished itself on the map. The other thing that he really got right is that he removed the crime, right? He reduced the crime substantially. So now it's a safer country. People can actually go there, purchase Bitcoin, purchase land, and feel safe in that country. Tourism has picked up, and if you see a lot of vloggers, YouTubers are actually flocking to El Salvador. Now let's get to the hack, right? The hack that I'm talking about is the C4 treaty. Now, C4 is 4 countries. You have Guatemala, Honduras, El Salvador, and Nicaragua, all very strategically important countries. Different use cases for all these different locations. But let's say you want to pick up the best, the safest, and the cheapest residency from Guatemala. And it has some very interesting dynamics. It's one of the simplest, easiest, and the cheapest. I would say almost free. I'm going to discuss the requirements. And we have a couple of strong and solid attorneys in Guatemala who process our cases. This is obviously educational content. This is not legal advice. But let's say you get the residency. And this is really that pass, right? That backdoor pass that I'm talking about. Once you have the Guatemalan residency, this is a flexible residency, unlike El Salvador. Let's say you can't purchase the passport in El Salvador. You're trying to get the residency, but that residency is difficult to get. There's no clear pathway to that residency. Secondly, even if you get that residency, you're looking at residency requirements. With Guatemala, on the other hand, it's much more flexible. The residency itself is flexible. You're going to earn a citizenship eventually, right? So you can gain access to that all-important Guatemalan passport. But more importantly for right now, you do get access to the C4 treaty. Now, this is like the Schengen access in Europe, where you get access to those 2027 countries. Here we're talking about 4 countries, and once you have the C4, let's say you have residency in any of these 4 countries that I mentioned, you have freedom of movement. Once you have the cedula and once you have the residency card, based on your circumstances, you can have freedom of movement within these 4 countries. Let's say you're a Guatemalan resident with a residency permit, you can freely move to El Salvador and do your transactions, right? You can access the market. You can purchase, of course, the Bitcoin. You can sell your Bitcoin. You can obviously, because of the freedom of movement, you can do your stuff in El Salvador. Once you become a Guatemalan citizen, then obviously you have a lifelong C4 access and open access to all these 4 markets. A lot of people for various purposes are also interested in Nicaragua. So you're killing multiple birds with one stone, although you should not be killing any birds in real life. But what I'm talking about here is multiple advantages for next to none. Now, the requirements for Guatemala are fairly straightforward, right? So there are a couple of categories. One is the investor category. We're looking at 100K. That's separate benefits. I'm going to cover that separately, what that comes along with. But the second category, which I want to focus as part of this video, is the income route. Qualifying income of $1,250 US dollars, that is 1,250 approximately US dollars, can get you that Guatemalan residency. A lot of my viewers are actually missing out on the Mexican residency. That's obviously slightly better because that's a better citizenship that you get at the end. But the requirements, the financial requirements for Mexico have really jumped up, almost doubled from, let's say, a couple of years before. So that has become out of range for a lot of people. But Guatemala is affordable. It gets you to El Salvador. It gets you some Bitcoin privileges if you strike the right balance. And here we're talking about $1,250, which isn't bad. If you have that much qualifying income, then you have a permanent residency in Guatemala. Again, this is a flexible residency, and eventually this could lead to citizenship. So this is the perfect residency to obtain before the next bull run, right, within the Bitcoin or the crypto market. So you're prepared with the right residency when it matters. Now, if you haven't subscribed, make sure to subscribe to this channel so you don't miss out on any important related videos. I'm going to cover the investor option in future. And if you want to get started with the Guatemalan residency right away, you know what to do. Click the link in the description, book a call with us. We can hook you up with our attorney and get you started with this all important residency. This is not the only one. This is one of many. There are several other residencies based on the use case that you're trying to accomplish. I hope you liked this video. If you did, give me a thumbs up. Make sure you're sub. And if you are interested in 15 citizenships that you can qualify right away, hop onto this video. This talks about 15 citizenships that you may be eligible for starting right away. Catch you in this one.